Item D, hold a public hearing, waive the first reading, and introduce an ordinance temporarily suspending liability of airport parking facilities for a portion of the airport parking facility tax provided for by San Bruno Municipal Code 3.16.180.
Good evening, Mayor Ruane, members of the City Council, Edmund Soon, Finance Director. This item before you is a public hearing item, and it's a consideration of the extension of a 5.5% airport parking facility tax for the calendar year 2010. A little bit of background: back in 1999, San Bruno voters approved an 8% airport parking tax, and that's now been codified in our Muni Code. The code provides that the City Council may, upon finding of a public benefit, decrease that tax temporarily. The implementation of the change of this tax does require an ordinance amendment, and therefore this item is before you. Sky Park, our operator, and we do have a representative here. Nicole Judge is here in case there are any questions for her later on in the session. Sky Park, our airport operator, has requested an extension of the 5.5% airport parking facility tax rate through the calendar year. And some of the considerations that have been identified by the operator are as follows. The operator reported a loss in 2009. Staff did due diligence in reviewing the financial statements and the tax returns of the operator to concur with that information. In our discussions with the Sky Park representatives, they indicated a number of constraints, some of which include the following. The economic environment as measured by passenger activity at the airport has been flat. Comparing the passenger activity, if I may, passenger traffic for 2009 versus 2008, the increase has been at a 0.4% level, so very, very flat for that period compared to the prior year. The Sky Park facility is mandated, as all other parking facilities are mandated by the airport, to convert their vehicles from diesel to clean air vehicles, and in their case it's compressed natural gas, so they're incurring some costs associated with those conversions. There's also costs associated with their lease, which is an agreement they currently have. There's annual adjustments of 5% for their operating lease, so they're continuing to see escalation in their cost structures. And finally, Sky Park has indicated that absent of the continuation of the 5.5% reduced rate, they would be looking at a very dire situation and really looking at a situation where they'll be forced to close their business. So extending the 5.5% tax rate reduction is intended to respond to the economic conditions and the hardship that's cited by the operator there. And it also provides a positive benefit for the community in avoiding potentially the closure of the facility and the revenues associated that the city enjoys in its general fund. It's also important to note that this request will sunset at the end of the calendar year, 2010. And so with that, I will take comments from questions from the City Council on this request.
Any questions?
Through the chair. For staff, when did we? It's not clear in the staff report. When did we first reduce the tax rate?
The tax rate was first reduced, I believe, in...
Was it after 2006?
2002-03 is the recollection. 2003-04, sorry.
3-4. And I guess for the company representative, what have been the guess, the competitive costs? Have the costs risen with Sky Park, the fees and things in the last couple of years? Yeah. Or are you at 2008, 2009 rates?
My name's Nicole Judge from Sky Park. We're still at the same rates that we were at in 2000. Our rates have been, what we're charging our customers, it's remained very flat because of the competitive nature of our business. We've also had several other parking lots open up, and the hotels are also getting into parking. The Clarion Hotel, I think it's the Sheraton in Burlingame. They've opened up a separate lot that is just for it's for airport parking only because they have lower occupancies in their hotels, so they've added more parking spaces at an extremely reduced rate, much lower than ours.
And on that comment, on that information, did you experience, was there any change? Because I believe just recently Millbrae did adopt a tax.
I'm not really aware of
Okay.
that issue at all, sorry.
Okay.
Any other questions of staff or Nicole?
Through the chair.
Michael?
Is the tax that we're talking about here generally passed on, is that paid by the customer, or?
We
is
do
it-
charge on to the customer, yes.
That's going to the customer.
Yes.
So I imagine that in that business, there's a fairly large fixed cost for just maintaining the operation, for owning the property, and probably a very small incremental cost that goes along with each rental of space. And being that the tax is paid on one occurrence of a customer coming in, when that volume goes down, clearly, I mean, you're not getting the money, but also if you don't have a customer, you don't pay tax on it. And I'm wondering what kind of guarantees or how you would justify that condition can change, being that the fixed cost, even if customers start coming in, your fixed cost is still going to be large. How do you address the fact that some of those customers may not come back, and even if they do, that the fixed cost really doesn't change for you?
I'm not quite certain I understand the question
Let me try
clearly,
to
and I'm sorry.
rephrase that then. The way I understand it is, if you start getting more customers, they're going to come in, they'll pay the tax. If we reduce the tax, we're getting less per customer. You have less customers, we get less, but your fixed cost remains the same.
Our rent, our insurance, those big costs,
all of those
yes.
things are going to stay the same. So I'm just wondering, we can offset some of what you pay on the tax, but none of the fixed costs, which I imagine is probably by far the larger portion of what it costs to operate your business, hasn't changed. It won't change.
We're hoping it will change. We're negotiating with our landlord. We actually, and I hate to get into too many details just for competitive natures, but we honestly thought we had an agreement going for 2010 where we would not have to come back here. And our landlord has decided to sell our property, and they would not give us that freeze and rent that they were talking about, a 2-year freeze. We were in heavy negotiations with them for about 8 months, and then it came down to the wire in December, and they said, well, due to some other companies we're holding, we may get out of the airport parking business and move on into, they're a real estate investment trust, and they think they want to take our type of business out of their portfolio. This may be more information than you want. You can stop me anytime. But Fast Track, who is the largest off-airport parking operator, they went bankrupt this year, or pardon me, in 2009. And that was one of their holdings. So they quit getting any rent payments from them. So they kind of started to back off and think maybe we don't want to be in this industry.
And that would be my concern as well, because there is more competition. We have BART now taking people to the airport. I think we're trying to encourage people to not drive.
Right.
So I'm wondering what the future of the industry is, and
We are too, and we're very hopeful that we can, keep it going, keep our 50 employees employed. We're extremely grateful to the city and everyone on this council for helping us in the past. We truly do not want to come back and ask for this, but the nature of the industry, it's required.
okay, thank you.
And for Michael's benefit too, the Sky Park doesn't just park cars. They'll service cars, they'll detail cars, got some dents and dings, they'll have it taken care of when you get back. So it's more of a full-service type parking facility than just parking it out in a cyclone fenced lot. So, you know, I understand it's difficult out there. I'm in a business too, and
Yes.
it's really hard. So, okay, any other questions for staff or the applicant? At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing and see if any members of the public would like to speak on this.
Move to close?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any action? Discussion?
Through Chair, I move to waive the first reading.
Second.
Motion second to waive the first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'd like to introduce the ordinance for adoption.
Councilmember Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilmember Salazar.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina.
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye.